The morning sun crept across the skyline like liquid gold, painting the glass towers of the city in fire. Callie stood at the bus stop, clutching her worn leather bag to her chest, her coat buttoned against the chill. The streets were alive. Coffee carts steaming, horns blaring, the rhythm of ambition pulsing through the air. But for Callie, the world felt muted. Like she was walking through a life that wasn't hers. Her phone buzzed. A message from her mother. "Don't forget dinner tonight. Your brother's engagement. Don't embarrass us by being late." She exhaled quietly and tucked the phone away. Her brother, Liam, the pride of the family. Sharp suit, sharp smile, perfect job, perfect fiancé. He was the golden sun. And she was the shadow that made his light shine brighter. At work, Callie blended into the gray hum of office life. She sat at the edge of the marketing floor, a cubicle by the window with a view of people who seemed to move faster than her, think louder, live bolder. But behind her quiet demeanor, she was building something. A secret. A small company she ran alone after hours, a consulting startup helping independent businesses grow their digital presence. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't loud. But it was hers. Every night, after leaving her day job, she'd walk to her tiny apartment, heat leftover pasta, and open her laptop. While the city slept, Callie built empires. One client at a time. One idea at a time. She didn't tell her family. They wouldn't care anyway. Her mother's favorite line echoed in her head. "You could have been something, Callie. If you weren't so timid." That word had followed her all her life. Timid. They said it like it was a curse, not armor. The night of Liam's engagement dinner came quickly. The restaurant shimmered, crystal chandeliers, champagne bubbles, silk dresses. Callie stood by the door, invisible as usual, watching her mother fuss over Liam and his fiancée, Rachel. Rachel was elegant, everything their mother had ever wanted for the family's name. When Callie approached to say hello, her mother glanced up briefly. "Oh, good, you made it," she said. "Try to smile more in pictures this time, dear. No hug. No warmth. Just that clipped tone of polite disappointment." During dinner, Liam raised a toast. "To family," he said, his arm draped around Rachel. "And to the people who never stop believing in you." The table laughed and clinked glasses. Callie sipped her water and stayed silent. No one noticed. But across the table, Rachel did. She leaned slightly toward Callie during dessert. "You don't talk much," she said kindly. Callie smiled faintly. "I'm better at listening." Rachel nodded. "That's rare these days." Later that night, Callie walked home through the rain. Her heels clicked against the wet pavement, the city shimmering in reflections. She stopped under a streetlight, closed her eyes, and whispered to herself. "Someday?" That word, soft, almost a prayer, became her fuel. Weeks passed. Her family barely called unless they needed something. Her mother asked for help with emails or planning parties. Liam asked for advice on presentation design, always with a tone that implied she was lucky to be included. She helped anyway. Because that was who she was, the quiet one who always showed up. Until one night. She received an email from a small coffee chain owner. They'd used her consulting tips online and doubled their revenue. They wanted to hire her full-time to rebrand their entire business. Her eyes filled with tears as she read it. Not because of money, but because someone had finally seen her worth. She accepted. And that one project became 3. 3 became 10. Soon, her startup, Clarity Works, began attracting attention in quiet circles. Small businesses. Local stores. Creatives looking for someone who listened. Meanwhile, at home, Liam's life was beginning to crack. The perfect job came with debts. The perfect fiancé came with expectations. He started calling less. When he did, it was short, distracted. Then one evening, their mother called in tears. "Callie, Liam's in trouble. Something about his company. He needs your help." Callie's chest tightened. What kind of trouble? Her mother hesitated. He might lose everything. By the next morning, Callie sat in Liam's apartment, a sleek, glass-walled place overlooking the city, now filled with tension and unpaid bills. Liam looked smaller than she remembered. Everything fell apart, he said quietly. Bad investments. I thought I could handle it. Callie looked around, the expensive furniture, the empty bottles, the echo of pride still clinging to the room. Do you have a plan? She asked. He shook his head. Not really. Mom says you're good with business stuff. Maybe you can help? Her first instinct was to walk away. But she didn't. She spent hours with him, going over spreadsheets, budgets, plans. She didn't mention Clarity Works. She just helped. A week later, she sent him a full recovery strategy, something so clean and detailed that his board decided not to fire him. He never thanked her properly. He told everyone he'd figured things out. That was the moment she stopped expecting acknowledgement. Instead, she poured everything into Clarity Works. Her business grew exponentially, attracting investors quietly, discreetly. Within 2 years, she had a small downtown office and a team of 12. Her name wasn't public. She signed everything under C. Miller Consulting Group. But her impact rippled across industries. Then, one afternoon, while visiting her mother's house for Sunday lunch, Liam mentioned a company he was looking to partner with. Some consulting firm. They're brilliant. C. Miller something. They've saved half the companies in the city. Callie froze mid-sip. Her mother smiled. Maybe they can teach your sister a thing or two about business, Callie smiled back, small, controlled. Maybe they could. That night, she drove home in silence, the city's lights gliding across her windshield like falling stars. She parked, sat in her car for a long while, and whispered to herself again, this time not someday, but soon. Because she knew the moment of revelation was coming. And when it did, she wouldn't need to shout. The truth would speak for her. That truth came sooner than she thought. A large investor gala, one where C. Miller Consulting Group was being honored for innovation and impact. The firm's CEO was being given a Business Leadership Award. Her family, naturally, didn't know she was the CEO. But Liam's company was attending. And so was he. The night of the gala, Callie stepped into the ballroom in a simple black gown. The chandeliers glowed above her, cameras flashing as guests mingled. When she walked to her table, heads turned. Liam blinked in surprise. Callie? You got invited here. She smiled softly. Something like that. The speeches began. The announcer's voice echoed across the room. And now, we honor the CEO of C. Miller Consulting Group, a company reshaping how small businesses thrive. Please welcome Callie Miller. For a moment, time stopped. The room fell silent. Liam's mouth fell open. Their mother stared, eyes wide with disbelief. Callie walked onto the stage. The applause was thunder. But her heart was calm. She spoke clearly, powerfully. Sometimes, the people we underestimate the most are the ones carrying the weight of everyone's dreams. To those still working in silence, your time is coming. When she stepped down, her family couldn't look her in the eye. Not out of shame, out of awe. That night, she left the gala early. She didn't need validation. She'd already lived the proof. Driving home through the soft rain, Callie smiled to herself. She wasn't the timid one anymore. She was the storm. The city slept beneath a soft drizzle, its lights blurred and haloed against the fog. Callie drove home from the gala with the award resting on the seat beside her, a simple, clear crystal plaque that caught the dashboard light like a prism. She didn't glance at it much. It wasn't the trophy that mattered. It was what it represented, the years of silence, of humiliation, of being invisible, now crystallized into something real, something earned. When she reached her apartment, she placed the award on the shelf by the window. It reflected the city skyline like a promise fulfilled. Her phone buzzed again. This time, not with reminders or demands, but with missed calls. Her mother. Her brother. 5 messages from each. She let the phone vibrate itself quiet. Then she made tea, sat by the window, and watched the raindrops slide down the glass. They would come. And when they did, she'd be ready, not with anger, but clarity. The next morning, her mother showed up at her office unannounced. It was the first time she'd ever been there. She stood in the lobby, staring at the sign on the wall, Clarity Works Consulting, the name her daughter had built from nothing. Her voice trembled when she spoke to the receptionist. "I'm here to see Callie Miller." Callie emerged from her office, calm and professional. Her mother's eyes widened, taking in the floor-to-ceiling windows, the rows of focused employees, the hum of quiet efficiency. "It's beautiful," her mother said softly. Callie smiled faintly. "Thank you. Would you like to sit?" They sat in her office, a space lined with framed letters from clients, thank yous, partnerships, success stories. Her mother looked around, her expression a mix of awe and confusion. "Why didn't you tell us?" Callie folded her hands. "Because you wouldn't have believed me." Her mother blinked. "That's not true." Callie tilted her head slightly. "Isn't it?" Silence filled the room. The kind that holds truth in its breath. Finally, her mother sighed. "You were always so quiet. I thought you needed protection." "No," Callie said softly. "You just never thought I could protect myself." The words landed like gentle thunder, not shouted, but undeniable. Her mother nodded slowly. "I was wrong," she whispered. Callie looked out the window. "I wasn't waiting for an apology, Mom. I was waiting for respect." They sat in silence again. Outside, the city shimmered, restless, alive. That night, Callie drove home through streets lined with wet reflections and golden traffic lights. Her life felt heavier now, not in burden, but in meaning. She was no longer invisible. And visibility comes with a strange, quiet weight. Days turned into weeks. The world learned her name. She appeared in business articles, interviews, podcasts. Each time she spoke, her words carried the softness of humility wrapped around steel. But fame has gravity, it pulls old ghosts toward the surface. One evening, Liam appeared at her apartment door. He looked different, tired, thinner, eyes redrimmed from sleepless nights. She let him in without a word. He sat on her couch, twisting his hands together. "I didn't come to apologize," he began quietly. "Not because I don't want to. But because I don't know how." Callie sat across from him, listening, just as she always had. He continued, "You were always there when I needed help. And I acted like it was my right. I thought you'd always be in my shadow." She said nothing. The silence pressed him to keep talking. "I told people I fixed my company myself," he admitted. "But it was your plan. Your strategy saved me. I didn't even have the courage to tell them the truth." He looked up, eyes glistening. "I'm sorry, Callie." Her chest tightened, but her face stayed composed. "Do you know what it felt like," she said slowly, "to be invisible in your own family? To be the one who made things work but never got the credit?" He nodded, his voice barely a whisper. "I know now." She leaned back, studying him. "You don't owe me an apology. You owe yourself honesty." He lowered his head, tears tracing the edge of his jaw. "I'd like to work for you," he said suddenly. "Not as your brother, as someone who wants to learn." She looked at him for a long moment. The air between them was fragile, a tightrope stretched across years of resentment and blood. Then she nodded. "Start Monday." He exhaled shakily, relief flooding his face. "Thank you." She smiled faintly. "You'll have to earn it." And he did. Weeks turned into months, and Liam worked harder than she'd ever seen him work. He started from the bottom, shadowing junior consultants, learning systems he once thought beneath him. He didn't complain. He listened. And for the first time, Callie saw humility in him, a quiet, genuine kind. Her mother began calling more often, not with criticism, but with curiosity. "How's business?" she'd ask. "Are you eating properly? I read about your company in the paper." The change was small, hesitant, but real. Then came the day that changed everything again. A major corporation offered to buy Clarity Works for an astronomical sum. It would mean financial freedom beyond measure, but it would also mean giving up her independence. She sat in her office late that night, staring at the contract. The city below glimmered like a constellation of restless dreams. Liam knocked softly. "You're still here," he said. She nodded. "They want to buy us out." He walked closer. "Are you going to take it?" She sighed. "If I do, it means letting go of what I built. But if I don't," he finished her sentence, "it means keeping control." They stood in silence for a long time. Finally, Callie smiled, small, decisive. "I didn't come this far to hand it over. I built this from ashes. It's staying in my hands." Liam nodded. "Then I'm with you." The next morning, she declined the offer. Politely. Firmly. The news spread like wildfire. CEO rejects billion-dollar deal, chooses integrity over wealth. Her inbox flooded. Some called her foolish. Others called her fearless. But she didn't care about either. She had made her choice, and for once, every voice that mattered was inside her, not around her. Months later, at another awards ceremony, she stood backstage watching her team, laughing, radiant, proud. Liam was there too, standing among them, no longer the golden boy, but something better, grounded. Their mother sat in the audience, smiling. It wasn't pride that glowed in her eyes this time. It was gratitude. When Callie took the stage, she didn't speak about success or struggle. She spoke about silence. "The quiet ones," she said, "are often dismissed as weak. But silence isn't weakness. It's listening. It's watching. It's the art of building strength while no one is looking." The room fell still. Every word echoed like a heartbeat. After the ceremony, she stepped outside. The city night air was cool, the wind soft on her skin. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like she was walking against the world. She felt with it. She stood beneath a streetlight, the hum of traffic around her, and smiled, the kind of smile that doesn't reach the lips but lights the soul. Her phone buzzed, a message from her mother. "Dinner tomorrow. Just the three of us." She typed back one word, "Yes." Then she looked up at the skyline, the same one she'd walked beneath all her life, dreaming of a day she'd matter. She realized now that she'd never needed to become someone. She'd been someone all along. The world had just taken a little longer to see it. And that was okay. Because true strength isn't loud. It's steady. It's earned. It's hidden gold running quietly through veins of fire.